Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Here today for Chase Race number 2 of season number 2. We're live from the virtual Richmond Raceway in Richmond, Virginia. Welcome in, everybody. It's QSR Simulator's Chase for the Cup, live on V-Speed. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper. Alongside me here tonight, Daniel Paulus Jr. up in the booth. Of course, check out vspeedsim.com. But here today for 110 laps at this short track, Daniel, we're going to see these guys duke it out. Short track tempers definitely going to be a problem. This car cannot make contact. The front bumpers on these Gen 4 NASCARs are very hard to handle, and if you get too close to one another, very likely that you're going to go around.
Well, it's Richmond. I'm very excited here tonight to see these Gen 4 cars go around this track here. And you know what, Bradley? I mean, look at it here. We could see drivers literally come into turn 1 on the first lap and already spin out. So you're going to see tempers flare no matter what lap it is, because they're going to race very hard from the green flag to the checkered flag.
Track map up on your screen, 0.75 miles, very similar to Iowa Speedway, as we've talked about previously. 14 degrees of banking, 8 degrees on the straightaway. The front stretch is going to be very tough to come out of turn 4 and complete passes here. Name of the game, get around guys early, because these tires will fall off. Rather short run here. Of course, coming into tonight, we're going to have those points up on the screen. Daniel Molnix has got the lead by 20 points. Jeremy Burns just behind, 20 points back. This is after the reset, after last week's race at Dover. And these guys, I mean, they've kept it close all through the season. But Daniel Molnix with 5 wins here, really setting apart from the rest of the field. We haven't had, unlike the Xfinity Series, very many different winners. So that's kind of, I think, the main factor I'll take away here from this points is that Daniel Molnix and Jeremy Burns have had really good seasons. They've had dominant performances. But Ronnie Joyner fell down 3 spots there last week. He's looking to make up the points, and we might have one of those throwback style races with, Daniel Molnex out there in the number 2 Rusty Wallace machine. So I'm looking forward to that as well. But yeah, race analysis coming up on the screen. 110 laps here today. Of course, pit road speed limit 35 miles per hour. 2 green, white checkered attempts and 4 tire sets available. 100% fuel in this league. And as always, the iRacing fixed setup. Schedule coming up on the screen here. We've got 2 races left after this here. Charlotte, a possible charity race to be determined here, to be announced on the week of 4th of July. So we will not be live for that week, I believe. We'll have to get full details on that, but we might be here. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll put a V-Speed car out there on the racetrack. But Daniel, of all the things here that you've witnessed on V-Speed, short tracks, they're probably the most entertaining. There's not much more fun that you can have on the service than this.
It's going to be a blast here, no matter what short track that is, no matter if it's Bristol, Richmond, Martinsville, any short track you name, you're going to see these drivers be very aggressive, and we're probably going to see that here tonight, especially since, we have drivers that are 20 points out from getting the lead of the point situation here. But Bradley, when these drivers are racing very, very aggressive here, they're going to be aggressive on the restarts. And why I'm saying that is because you mentioned it earlier, Bradley, these tires are going to go wearing down pretty quick. So once that happens, you're not going to be able to make the passes that you were on that fresh rubber. So you're going to make your passes very aggressive very early on before those tires wear out. But also it is trying to get every position possible, trying to get a win, trying to get those points needed in order for you to climb up that leaderboard and potentially continue to compete for that championship at the end.
Well, we've completed qualifying, so now it's time to take you trackside, get that grid up on the screen. Starting on the pole here today, 22.139. It's going to be Galen Wunsch in the 199. He will beat Jeremy Burns by about 0.05 of a second to start up front. Row number 2 belongs to Chuck Sweeting with Ronnie Joyner in 4th position. 5th spot goes to Kevin Orlando Jr., Trenton Wilkin in 6th. 7th spot, Joseph Terciano, Ryan Philbrick in 8th. And rounding out your top 10 here today is Daniel Molnex in the 9th spot, Mitchell Costner in 10th.
Just outside your top 10, starting 11th, we have Wyatt Walker in the 85. And starting 12th is Bradley Halls in the 23. Next up, we have starting 13th, we have Stephen McGough, and 14th, Brent Allen. Starting 15th, we have Quentin Stewart, and 16th, the 8 of Austin Dowdy. Just outside your top 15, we have the 60 of Mike Petrin, and the 5 machine of Ethan Winston, starting 18th.
Wisnowski and Petrin on those. Yeah. We're getting tough back here, I know, for sure.
Starting 19th, we have Bryson Witherspoon in the 22. And starting 20th, we have the 13 of Brandon H. Yates in the 13. Starting 21st in the 29, we have Spencer Johnson. And starting 22nd is the 48 of Derek McMurtry.
Yep, you got it. 2 cars left here.
Starting 23rd, we have Chris Nell. And 24th, the 54 of Frank Walsh.
It's a 24 car field here today. And from Richmond, Virginia, pacing almost feels like an eternity when you go 2 laps around this place. But once they get up to speed, we're going to be running under 20 seconds around this racetrack.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to see this start here, Bradley. Here we go.
Green flag is out, and for Chase race number 2, we're underway. QSR Simulators Chase for the Cup. So Galen Wunsch able to hold on to lap number 1. Jeremy Burns has Chuck Sweeting on the inside here as they come into turn 1. That 97 car has struggled the last couple weeks, especially at Darlington. Dover a little bit better of a venue, but We have a yellow flag out on the racetrack. Looks like Spencer Johnson,
Whoa!
McMurtry, Chris Nail, big pile up on the backstretch.
Oh, look at the 20. He was on the side of that car. Take a look at a replay here. Turn 2, going down the back straightaway. You saw him right there, Bradley. It looked like he was using that high groove, just came around right on him.
And Brent Allen, the luck continues for him. He has had, I believe we're on the string of about 6 DNFs here for Brent Allen. He just wants to put a week together, and it happens right in front of him again. Chris Nail sideways. He's on top of a car. It was the 48 of Derek McMurtry. One more time. We're going to go on board here. Back it up a little bit more. This is on board with the 20 of Nail. He saw nothing. I mean, he literally had zero warning that that was happening.
No, all he could know is that the 29 was on the outside of him. But other than that, he's looking forward, so he had no idea that car was coming right down on him.
So 4 cars down pit road on lap number 4. And very early days could be ending here for Chris Nail, Spencer Johnson. It's actually Brandon Yates in the 13. I apologize for that. Brent Allen's in the 15 this week. We've tried to get to the bottom of the numbers here, but nonetheless, this field has stayed consistent name-wise. You have been familiar with these guys all through the season, and I'm familiar with these guys on the racetrack. There's quite a few of these guys that you kind of meter your speed. How fast are you at a specific place? And right now, Galen Wunsch is the kind of that metric. He's the guy that he's going to keep everyone in check. He's going to try to maintain this lead, and 5 laps in, he's led every single one of them so far. Chuck Sweeting has gained 1 position, but the top 10, for the most part, it hasn't changed at all. We're looking at 2 spots changed, and outside of that, Ronnie Joyner, Kevin Orlando, Trenton Wilkin, all these guys have stayed in the same positions. I know that it's early and we didn't really get a chance to complete some passes, but usually, like we said in the pre-race, you're going to have aggression on these restarts, and usually that means that at least somebody is going to gain 2 or 3 positions.
Oh yeah, you're gonna see it again on this restart for sure. But all these drivers that are here, Bradley, I mean, the guys that we're seeing up front right now, you know, they are probably the drivers that are more comfortable on short tracks, because we know there are some drivers out there that aren't really familiar running short tracks as well as others. So it's all about, like, are you used to it, are you not used to it, or do you just have to wiggle your way through the race just to get it done? So there are pros and cons to some of these drivers here tonight on the short track.
Pros and cons. You're always weighing those options when you're getting ready to go back racing, and I can tell you right now that everybody from 5th on back is maybe weighing the pros and cons if we get another caution of coming in and topping off with fuel, because this race with 100% fuel in these Gen 4 cars, they might be able to make it all the way to the end. It might be worth the gamble if this race goes green to have that full tank of fuel and go a little bit further. Even if you can't make it to the end, you can stretch out the run and pit later than somebody else. So, pit strategy, going to keep getting toppled. Got a couple drivers out here that need to recover. 4th spot here for Ronnie Joyner. So, this could be a great point stay for him, but he's going to have to get around a couple of these cars in front of him if he wants to really gain on the 97 of Jeremy Burns. Green flag's out. We're back underway for the 2nd time at Richmond.
A great launch for the 199 Walls right there. Still leading the way here off of 2, but look at that 97 of Burns trying to get past him.
Burns able to get around. Chuck Sweeting did not have a good restart. He falls back to the 4th spot, and Ronnie Joyner has a threat from the 12 of Trenton Wilkin. And I can tell you right now, those 2 cars raced very hard at Dover. They raced very hard at Richmond the week before that. They always seem to find each other on the racetrack, and I think it's just a matter of time before the tempers start to rise up. Things will boil over eventually. How about that DuPont, that Pepsi throwback on the 00, waiting on the Rusty Wallace machine to get up here and duke it out. Just like some classic 1990s style NASCAR that we used to know and love. To the inside of Philbrick here for the 2.
Right now, what I'm seeing out of these drivers, Bradley, is that it looks like that inside middle groove is that lane right now. But later on in this race, do we see them going up to that high groove? I've seen that happen before, past halfway, so we might see them go on the high groove and not use this inside groove as much. But early on this race, you're going to see them make passes, especially on the inside here, like the 2 trying to get around the 19 who's using that middle groove in the corner.
On the outside for Steve Mageau trying to get around Wyatt Walker. There was a brief little moment there where the 21, who's actually labeled as the 12 on track, had a blinking issue. He allowed Daniel Molnix to clear, so good sportsmanlike conduct there. But that still doesn't really change the situation here between Steve Mageau and Wyatt Walker, because they saw that blink, but they're already side by side. Neither one of them can afford to lift, as the 85 looks like he might clear here into 1. No, he will not. The 83 is going to surge back on the power, just on the outside.
Whoa. I saw that car get very loose there off of 2. I don't know if he's pressing that gas pedal too hard or what, but he's trying to get around this car right now.
He is very loose. Very loose here for Wyatt Walker. On the gyro camera, let's watch it coming out of turn 2. You can see the counter steer.
Watch, he's going to go to the right a little bit. Right there, just so that whole rear of the car doesn't come right around. So you want to be very careful. Let's watch again. Doesn't do it as much in 4. Let's see if he does it in turn 2.
I know he's been very loose off the exit, but it was mainly when he was side by side with Steve Mageau, and that's probably just a product of the lane change.
Right.
He had to run a different line that maybe he wasn't used to, but I can tell you the other factor here that we haven't talked about, locking up the brakes. Very easy to do here at Richmond. You can send it too deep into the corner, end up locking up the front tires, slide the nose down into the inside, the back end keeps going. The front brakes on these cars very powerful compared to the rear. There's a lot of brake bias change needed to get around this place with consistent lines, consistent braking. Battle for the lead has subsided, though. Half a second gap now. Galen Wunsch dominating so far. The 199 pulls out 0.6 now into turn 1. Kevin Orlando Jr., we just watched a little bit there Wednesday night. He's trying to get around Jeremy Burns. It's starting to tighten up here from second back to 5th.
Most of these drivers are single file as we speaking right now, but you know, that's not going to last forever here. You're seeing the 75 there of Sweeting going to the inside of the 27. Orlando trying to complete a pass. Not going to happen coming off of turn 2. That 27 very loose coming off of 2. Let's see what they do in turn 3.
The major takeaway from last week, the staggered offset of these cars looks like they're constantly turning. That right rear steps out a little bit. We had problems with that at Darlington, where the right rear would touch the wall unintentionally just going into the corner. I mean, you're already near the wall the whole time. Everybody loose off of turn 2. It's going to continue to happen, though. I mean, if we could get a really good shot here, see if I can find a camera that shows this. You'll see these guys coming off the exit of these corners. It's a brush with the wall on the right rear every now and again. Here we go. Side by side for 3rd here. Kevin Orlando.
See what happens here. Watch that double zero, though, Bradley. Watch the double zero, because if these two are side by side, I've seen this happen before. We might see the double zero make it 3 wide and take 2 spots away. Thinking about it. Nope, he's gonna back off here. Double zero, Joyner is gonna back off, but they're still battling side by side.
As this continues on, Joyner losing ground to the front. 2 drivers of Burns and Wunsch. That gap now over a second from 3rd on back. Jeremy Burns starting to shave that lead back away. Offset 3 wide here. Joyner looking for a hole, getting clean air to that nose. He's going to dive it all the way to the inside.
There
We will have 3 wide into 1.
That's exactly what I was talking about, but he didn't get 3 wide just yet, but he might have another opportunity here with these two battling off of 2. I think if you're going to want to do it, you're going to want to do it on the front stretch.
I don't know, this early in the race, we're only a quarter of the way through. Still the patience card being played. Still a little bit of give here at this race, and 27 loose again off of 2, but you're going to wear your tires out racing side by side for this long, and I think Kevin Orlando is starting to feel the effects of that, being on the outside lap after lap.
Oh, I totally agree with you, but let's check back to our leaders right now. Look at 0.2 of a second here for the 97 of Burns to our leader here of the 199 of Walsh. Let's see what happens here. Do we see the 97 make a pass?
And Wunsch is holding his own. I mean, he's been pretty consistent. Last time by just a half a tenth, I'd say. Not much of a difference in lap times, but it's just that little difference from the 97.
We gotta start wondering, did he use too much tire wear on that restart? Did he do something that he wasn't even saving tires now that the 97 is catching up? Did the 97 potentially save tires there but kept second spot? That is a possibility, because it seems like the 97 of Burns is the only one to catch our leader right now while everybody else is falling back a second.
Side by side again for Kevin Orlando. The 0-0, almost some contact out of turn 2. And now we're going to see that little throwback that I wanted to see, the 2 and the 0-0 getting close to each other now.
That's the 2 of Mullick's. Daniel Mullick's going to go on the inside of the 27 of Orlando there. Is going to make a pass. And it seems like the 27, Bradley, is the only car that I see is much looser than the others.
He's definitely been stuck on the outside for quite a few laps, and that's not helping the handling of that machine at all. But this has allowed Chuck Sweeting, Ronnie Joyner to break away. Once they got clear of the 27 car, they're starting to show the speed. Battle for the lead, starting to subside. It looks like Wunsch maybe was saving his stuff. He starts to pull back away. And Jeremy Burns, last time by, they were even on lap times.
Maybe he did save some stuff, but if he's going to start going faster, he's probably putting pressure on the 97 of Burns to try to get him to go faster, so he loses some tire wear, so the 199 can pull away a little bit. So I think that's the cat and mouse game that we're seeing right now.
Wow, off of turn 2, 3 cars loose, the 2 car, the 27, and the 21, all 3 of them.
I for sure thought they were going to spin there off of 2, but they kept it straight.
On board with the back of Daniel Molnex, he has cracked into the top 5 after starting back in 9th spot. Some racing going on deeper in the field. Steve Mago, who's worked his way up to 12th. He's had a struggle here, but now on the back end of Brent Allen for the 11th position. Close racing here, just outside the top 10. It's even closer on further back. Quentin Stewart starting to move up through the field, up to 14th. He'll go around to 13th position as he passes Bradley Hall into turn 1.
Now that looked like an easy move there by the 24, but let me tell you, I raced here at Richmond on iRacing, and it's not easy to make a pass like that. Flying on board here, going into turn number 1 of Quentin Stewart. Let's see how that wheel looks right now. Looks very smooth here, Bradley. Doesn't look like he's struggling at all.
A lot of this car is mainly throttle control. Your steering input is minimal. You kind of turn it out with the throttle. You can see right there, just a little bit extra throttle to get the power down. But once you start to flatten out the racetrack, you got to lift back off to make sure the car is going to connect. This is probably the hardest track to do so. And you'll see guys struggling all night. We've already seen it on the backstretch quite a few times.
Well, we might see it again here. Look at the 5 machine going around the 48 there. Ethan there, who started 18th and is now up 2 positions running 16th. So you begin to wonder, Bradley, are we going to see drivers that start in the back start working their way up and contend for top 10, top 5, or are we going to see vice versa of that?
Right now, it kind of looks like trend-wise, there are some guys that started deep in the field. Wisnowski is one of them. McMurtry, who got caught up in that accident early, up 5 positions. And then Frank Walsh, he's up 6 spots. So I think they'll plateau somewhere around 10th position. But yeah, I think there's a few guys back here that are a little bit better on the race trim than they would be in qualifying. And that's been the case pretty much all season long, especially if you want to talk about McMurtry. He's made races harder than they need to be, but he's always found his way to the top 10 at some point in the race.
It could take time, but remember, every driver here, guys, no matter what track it is, there are certain drivers that are really good at short tracks, really good at super speedways. It doesn't matter, but we might see different drivers be like in the top 5 at a super speedway who are really good, but then we come to a short track and they're not even inside top 10. That's just how it goes with some of these drivers. But it shows you what their pros are here racing in iRacing. So right now, our leader, he's basically holding off the 97 right now, Bradley, but the 97's back on him again.
I was just about to say that these drivers, as far as consistency goes, you've got maybe 2 or 3 out here that do well anywhere we go. It's just a matter of if everything goes their way. And then there's guys that just dominate certain locations, and you'll have that in any league you go to. Right now, Galen Wunsch is showing that he's really, really good at this place here at Richmond, Virginia. And I've seen him have speed, top 5 speed at other places, mile and a half, so he can be up in the top 5, but this place here looking really good for the 199. Jeremy Burns, who's been consistent all season long, of course, that's why he's second in the points. And then the other 2 of the 3 drivers I was talking about, Ronnie Joyner, Daniel Molnix, and let's make it 4. I'd put this guy on that list as well, Trenton Wilkin. It's just, with Wilkin, worst luck ever. I think he's gotten caught up in the last 3 incidents, late race incidents that we've had here in QSR, and hasn't had the finishes to reflect his run that he put together. So, you know, points-wise, you got to mitigate that. We don't have very much time left, 2 races. You can't afford a DNF here.
No. You have to finish this race because that's the only way that's going to help you in the final 2 races coming up here in QSR. But we're going to have, here comes the 97 of Burns, throttling it up very quickly off of 2, trying to get to the 199. Let's see what happens.
He's putting the pressure on it. He's putting the pressure on him big time. He's getting back to the throttle sooner.
I think he's trying to make the 199 a wonk, try to, use his tire wear up as to where the 97 is not using as much, but has more speed in that car right now. And it seems like the 97 is putting a little more throttle into it than our current leader.
44 laps about to be completed. Galen Wunsch has led all 44 now as they cross the stripe. Coming out of turn 4, the 75 of Chuck Sweeting. Last time by, fastest car on the racetrack was the 75. He is gaining up ground big time on the front 2. He will be there within probably the next 5 laps.
And with that being said, that 97 of Burns is looking forward, but probably looking in that mirror, seeing the 75 of Sweeting. Now he's going to start getting pressure put on him, so that 97 is going to have to make a move soon if that 75 decides to come up on him.
Just a ticking time bomb. I mean, Chuck Sweeting, who's been stellar the last couple weeks. Burns really loose out of turn 2 there. He actually lost some ground to the 199, and they will go through turns 3 and 4 about equally spaced. And the other car that I wanted to check back in on here, we were talking about Kevin Orlando earlier. Well, he's in another 2x2x2. He's just getting freight trained here, almost 3 wide again into 1.
Where you are going 3 wide.
Oh, and early on the brakes, he's going to lose 2 spots in 1 corner. He's had his hands full for a few.
This is a pack I don't want to be in right now.
Oh, it's a pack I definitely love to see, though.
Yeah.
This is racing at Richmond. That's what you like. That's what you want. Right here from 7th position, actually 8th rather, all the way back to 12th. They're right on top of each other. And we're looking at Joseph Terciano, who is down 1 position, but back on the climb. 92 behind him of Mitchell Costner. And then Brent Allen up to 10th. After starting back in 14th here, he's on the outside of the 27 of Orlando. Orlando just can't catch a break here.
No. It seems like whatever line he's running, it doesn't matter if he's on the outside, inside line, that car is not, it's not turning as well as the other cars off the corner. It's very, very loose as to where other drivers could find more grip in that track and they can just shoot off like a rocket. Unfortunately, I don't see that off of Orlando as he loses more positions.
Looking back through the field here, your top 10 though, Galen Wunsch, of course, has led every single lap. The lead has pulled back out to half a second. Jeremy Burns in the 2nd spot. He's been there for quite some time as well, so the front 2 have not changed. Chuck Sweeting has worked back to 3rd where he began this race. He had to claw his way back from the 5th spot back up here. And then you have Ronnie Joyner, who's slowly chipping away at some of this at times, but he's about a 10th slower than the rest of these drivers in front of him. Daniel Molnix, who is running about a 10th faster than Ronnie Joyner. He's about even with the leaders. And we have Trenton Wilkin slowly approaching the back bumper in the 6th spot. Ryan Philbrick, pretty solid day here, running in 7th. He gained 1 position. Then Joseph Terciano trying to get back up there and take Philbrick's spot that those guys have traded. Brent Allen up to 9th now. And I'm just, I'm not going to jinx this guy. Great day. We'll move on. He needs a finish here. Car in the wall, the 27 right in front of him. See, I just mentioned Brent Allen and something almost happened to him. So we're just going to get the camera off of him. Go back here to Steve Mago. He's on the outside of Mitchell Costner.
Like the commentator's curse right there.
We had a lot of that Wednesday, and I don't know if you were able to tune in there for Racing Revolution, but every single time I had a driver camera turned on in real time, something happened to that driver. And I liked the fact that we were able to do that.
Right.
Made for great TV, but unfortunately, it was at the expense of every driver that had a camera, which was about 5 different people.
Wow.
Luckily, one of them won. We're almost 3 wide here in 1 and 2.
Oh, wow. Like a parking lot here.
Side by side into the 3 and 4. 83 of Mago on the bottom. Peeking in the middle was Orlando. The 19 of Terciano going to fall back another spot possibly here. Early on the brakes here for the 83. He's actually allowed the 27 back to the outside. Touches the apron. Little mistake there off of turn 2. They're sideways again.
This is going to be an interesting pack that we're going to keep a close eye on here.
Oh, Allen's coming down pit road. He made it in.
That was close.
So Brent Allen, Steve Mago are going to start the pit stops here at the halfway point, lap 57.
Here come more.
Wyatt Walker in as well. Looks like the 15 has hit his stall. The 13 of Brandon Yates is in as well. And another car coming down that looks like
The 2.
Frank Walsh. Oh, they're still going at it up here. I just pulled the camera off of it. They're still going at it.
Let's see how long they can last here. Right now, it looks like the 27 Orlando's in front of this pack here, but they're still battling side by side. Right behind him, let's see what happens in turn 1. 22's going to get by to 24.
Daniel Molnix to the inside. He'll get clear. 27, next one up there. Of course, these guys have fallen, some of them have fallen a lap down Kind of crazy if you think about it, how far this field has already been lapped. But the 199, your leader, has come down pit road, and Jeremy Burns stayed out. Chuck Sweeting stayed out. He'll get a lap lead.
Well, you gotta wonder, is there gonna be those drivers, or certain drivers that are gonna try to stretch it as far as possible and hope a caution comes out? Or are they just gonna all come in?
I think at this point you're kind of forcing the hand for some of these guys that they'll have to get tires because of that difference. Wunsch has already shown that he's the fastest car on the long run. He's maintained the lead for the entirety of the start of this race. The only reason that Sweeting and Burns have the lead right now is because he came down pit road, and now he'll be even faster than they are by probably about a full second. So they got to calculate this. Is it worth staying out, and how long do you want to do it? Because right now, all you're doing is losing time to the guys that were up here in front of you. And the 75 is going to continue to stay out for another couple laps. But I think probably within the next one or two, he's got to come down.
There's basically no option. You're gonna have to, because basically if you stay out, you're gonna get caught by the people that pitted. So, and that's because of the good fresh tires on their cars. So I think he's trying to run as many laps as possible, and then he's gonna come down pit road.
Ronnie Joyner had short pitted a little bit sooner than Galen Wunsch. About 2 laps shorter than the 199, so he's actually in front. Oh, Wunsch and Molnex also came down pit road. He's leading this group. He pitted 5 laps sooner than both the cars behind him. He has gotten in front, and that's just a few laps. Right now, Sweeting has stayed out an additional 7 laps as he comes down pit road, and the cones. He got the barrels.
Just got very loose coming into pit road. Locked it up a little bit. End up in the barrels, but he's still continuing down pit road.
Right front damage on the 75. He'll probably elect not to repair that. Shouldn't hurt the car too bad so long as the suspension isn't broken, but we'll go back on the V-Speed Instant Replay. Watch this pit road entry. That's tough, man. That is a tough pit road.
It's hard to get on, especially coming in on that high speed there.
So Burns will get a lap or 2 lead. He continues to stay out here on lap 67, past the halfway mark. As we cycle through, 7 cars yet to pit. Burns, Costner, Terciano, Hall, McMurtry, Wisnowski, and Petrin still out on the racetrack. Mike Petrin sitting back here in 7th spot. He has problems in front of him. Ethan Wisnowski into the outside wall. Almost out of problem down the back straightaway. This might be what Burns is waiting on, a caution to come out.
Well, we might get a caution, but we're going to have to keep a close eye and see what happens here.
On board with Ethan Wisnowski in the number 5. You got to stay locked in and focused here.
I was going to say, looks very relaxed right now.
I'm sure the shoulders are starting to get a little work done. There to the inside again, the 24 on fresher tires. He had to, oh, he's going to dive it down pit road.
Oh.
Maybe. Nope.
Oh.
That was a sin. Nope. He was trying to pit.
He tried. That's all you can do. If you make a mistake, you're either going to commit or you're not going to commit. And that's a risk of hitting those barrels, just like we saw with the 75 of Sweeting.
He's going to try it again here. He's got a ton of cars getting by.
Oh, boy.
He's actually a threat to go a lap down. Burns continues to stay out here in the 5 on the outside. Burns going to dive it down to the bottom. He's loose here over the tri-oval, but your leader is going to put him 1 lap down to 8th spot. Daniel Molnex just in front of this. Burns just, I mean, impressive that he's chasing these guys down the way he is.
Well, I mean, he's been inside the top 3 ever since the start, basically. So it doesn't surprise me that he's putting these drivers a lap down. But remember, he was battling with that 199. He's been leading the most laps. So again, it doesn't surprise me. But how long can the 97 of Burns keep this up? Because I feel like he's gonna have to come down pit road.
Yeah, he absolutely will have to. And right now, based off of telemetry, the 00 and the 199 would be about a full second and a half ahead of Burns. Based off these lap times that keep ticking away, it's going to be a long, long 30-lap run here. Burns better get down pit road. I think he's committed to waiting on a caution at this point, and it's not going to come.
Well, if you know it's not going to come, just come down pit road. But, I mean, look at this. The 00 and the 199. This is going to be a battle for the lead here. This 00 is getting the pressure from the 199.
Bunch has been all over the back bumper. They were able to get around Daniel Molnex now side by side. This is currently for the 4th spot, but they will resume the lead after Terciano, Costner, and Burns come down pit road. 97 still out there on the racetrack. Costner, he is about 7.8 seconds back from the 97 of Burns, who's in heavy traffic here through 1 and 2. The 22 here on the bottom, a little loose coming out of the exit. Now he's got someone to the inside. I believe that's Philbrick. It is going to unlap himself for the 9th spot. And here comes Jeremy Burns finally.
Going to give up the lead here, coming down pit road. That's going to allow the 92 to get the lead here.
So Costner going to get a lap led.
Yeah, once he comes down pit road, once the 92 comes down pit road, it's going to be all up to the 00.
You say that, but...
oh, man. Slide job.
Slide job and a crossover coming out of turn 2. Joyner's going to take the position back briefly here. They're going to lean on each other into 3. 199 on the outside. On board with Wunsch. He's going to keep the nose in there just enough as they go into turn 1. Didn't allow Joyner to run his apex and come out towards the wall. He'll pin him down on the entry of turn 1. Maybe this time by he can clear.
Well, I think the 00 of Joyner is putting this pressure on himself because he saw what the 199 done earlier in this race. Once he got that lead, Bradley, he controlled that lead for a long time. So I think the 00 is thinking he's going to have to go now if he's going to want to get this win.
I think right now, though, with Joyner pitting a little bit sooner than the 199 and, of course, the 97 who stayed out on the racetrack as long as he did, if you want to go back and look at where Jeremy Burns came out of pit road, 12th spot. That's how much time he lost. We're talking about well over 20 seconds. That's the gap here, and he's got a lot of work to do.
A lot of work. He's hoping for a caution.
Yeah, he's going to have a yellow. I don't think he can catch up. We've only got 30 laps to go here.
Yeah, it's going to go by quick, and once you know those laps are starting to wind down, you got to go. But, I mean, with the field spread out like this, I can only see the first or second, maybe 3rd place driver contend for a win if a caution were not to come out.
Joyner losing ground to the 199. Mitchell Costner still out on the racetrack as of right now. They are chasing down the 92, though. They're about 3 seconds back. And last time by, a full second faster. So, based off that math, it'll be about 3.5 laps. They should be to the back bumper of the 92. I think he'll come down pit road about the time they catch him.
Well, we're about to find out. Lap 82 out of 110. This is going to be very quick.
I was curious if the 92 was saving fuel. Doesn't appear to be so. So there's a couple cars behind him that are trying to get the lap back. Right now, the lucky pass would go to the 24 of Quentin Stewart. You got around Mike Petrin, who has scored 2 laps down here. Here comes the 199, now 1.5 seconds back.
Well, you got to be thinking, what do we think the 92 is thinking right now? Because if you're 1.3 seconds ahead of the 2nd place driver who has fresher tires than you, what do you do here? You just decide to give up the lead and go to pit road, or do you just hope to God that a caution comes out from the next 3 laps?
Yeah, this is one of those you made your bed, you got to lay in it moments for the 92. He's just going to have to string this run out to the end of the fuel run and pray that there's a yellow before that point. Otherwise, he's probably going to end up 2 laps down here.
Well, there's the 92, and there's our leader. That's going to become the leader, actually. See what he does in turn 1. He's going to dive it in there. He's diving the nose into turn 1. He's going to be side by side with the 92 coming off of turn 2. I think he's going to be clear here, Bradley.
Change for the lead on lap 86. Galen Wunsch takes it back. He'll have 60 laps led now as he crosses the stripe. And in a pretty dominant performance here, Galen Wunsch just a little bit better than everyone else when it came to getting around the strategy call to short pit. Genius, in my opinion. Put Jeremy Burns kind of on the back burner, 12 seconds back. He is a little faster. Now, I want to establish that Burns, last time by, a 22.981. Wunsch ran a 23.806. However, 11 seconds he's got to make up, and if he gets caught in traffic, there's still a lot of time left here for something to go wrong.
I think what's going to solve his issue is having a caution, but we're going to have to see what the 97 that Burns can do. He started second, you know, he led a few laps. There he is on the driver cam, looking very relaxed here, Bradley, right now, but I mean, he's only 10 seconds back. We're only going on lap 90 out of 110. That's not a lot of time left.
Checking in with some of these other drivers that have had up and down days. We're back here to the 22nd spot. Austin Dowdy, tough start to this race. He is 18 laps down, currently in the 22nd position. I know he would like this day to go a lot better than it has, but still out there putting laps down. Oh, I had a camera with him. There we go. The party's here. Unfortunately today for Dowdy, I think it was an internet issue because we don't have telemetry here, any information on our lower thirds, so that's usually an indicator that he had a connection issue to start this race. Unfortunate there, because Dowdy definitely could have had a top 10 day. He's actually struggling here because of being a lap down. He's going to let the leaders go. The battle between Chuck Sweeting, Daniel Molnix, Trenton Wilkin. They're going at it for third.
Hey, why not grab any position you can? If you have an opportunity in front of you, you got to take it, because there's not enough time here. If a caution were to come out, you have time, but so far it doesn't look like we're going to have enough time. So you got to take anything that is available in front of you.
75 with Sweeting also picked up that damage hitting pit road. Entrance barrels got that right front pretty good, but not enough to hinder the handling of this car. And he's still showing some pretty good speed. I mean, as far as short track goes, tear the fenders off of it. That's fine.
Why not?
Just keep the suspension good and you'll be all right.
He's closing in on the 12 right now. Wilkin, let's see what happens. He's going to go on the inside. He's on the corner panel of the 12. He's going to duck right back in and behind him.
And he is pushing the entry of these corners to get an edge on the exit.
Let's see what he does in turn 1. Will he push it to the limits? He's diving it in there, but he gets tight coming off the corner a little bit, it looks like, Bradley. He just can't get it around the 12. Let's see, he's going to try that high line now, that middle groove. Not going to work.
And it might be one of those moments. Oh, Wilkin actually slides up the racetrack. That's a mistake there.
That's an easy opportunity to take, and he took it.
Well played there by Chuck Sweeting. Just put the pressure on until a guy makes a mistake, and he will take over the third spot. Jeremy Burns has worked back up to 6th position, 7 seconds, 7.5 back from your leader, but he's got about 2-3 seconds to catch up to Daniel Molnix. And I think, again, this goes back to you stayed out maybe a little bit too long here, and all these guys got such a big gap, and he's been caught in traffic. Lap traffic has been a factor. The 13 here, Brandon Yates going by him. But yeah, if you're Burns right now, you're probably kicking yourself, but you also, I mean, the way this race started, there was no indication that it was going to go green from here on out, and it has all the way to lap 98. Galen Wunsch pulls away from Ronnie Joyner. 1.5 seconds, 72 laps led as he crosses the stripe. It's looking like the 199 is going to wrap this thing up if we stay green.
Well, he's been dominating ever since that green flag flew here earlier on in Richmond. And like you mentioned, Bradley, I think most of the drivers thought that there would be a caution or 2 or 3 cautions throughout this stint here. But this whole stint literally was almost all green. And that is what kicked the drivers in the butt, I think, a little bit. That's not what they were expecting. Unfortunately, that's the way it's going right now. And we're already 100 laps in now, 110. So time's ticking now.
10 laps to go now as Wunsch crosses the stripe. Chuck Sweeting, the fastest car on the racetrack again. He's proven that he has the long run speed. Even with that damage, he is chasing down Ronnie Joyner. About half a second separate these two. We could have a battle for second before this thing's all said and done.
Well, let's see how this entry of turn number 3 is. Just seeing the 75 of Sweden diming it in there on the inside. It's sticking. It is sticking on the inside there, and he's going to gain tremendous ground off of 4, going down the front straightaway. Will he dive into turn 1 again? Let's take a look here. There he is.
He's there. He has the nose on the position for second. 8 laps left when they cross the line, and Joyner hits the wall.
Oh, he's loose.
Gives up
Don't
a
allow
spot.
75. Don't allow him to go right by. Now the 75 is up for second. Caution
And we
is
got
out.
yellow.
Caution is out. That changes everything. Wow. Let's take a look at this replay, Bradley.
I'm not entirely sure where this is. I'm looking for it.
Maybe not. Maybe. I think it was the 27 and 29. Yeah, right there.
Is that the yellow?
I don't see the yellow flag out. Maybe that wasn't it. Because we're still green flag racing right here, going across the start-finish line.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure here.
After, oh wait, 22's in the wall.
Yeah, I'm having troubles with this one. This is kind of one of those phantom cautions that.
Yeah.
But here's the change of events.
Everybody came down pit road.
2 tires for Daniel Molnix, 2 tires for Jeremy Burns, 4 tires for Mitchell Costner, Galen Wunsch, 4 tires as well. Costner gets a speeding penalty on the exit of pit road, so he's going to lose all these positions.
Some mistake you do not want to make here late in this race.
And we're in green-white checkered territory here. 5 laps to go. This is getting interesting. They've kept it clean and green thus far. The second time today, the iRacing Pace Truck has came out on the racetrack. We're going to take a short commercial break while we try to unpack everything. You're watching the QSR Simulations Chase for the Cup live from Richmond in Chase race number 2.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here live from Richmond Raceway, the QSR Simulations Chase for the Cup. Chase race number 2 just got really interesting. 3 laps to go. We're in green-white checkered territory for the first time today. Late race caution, 2 tires on the front row. And for the second or third time rather today, we're going to go back green. Tire spin on the restart already. Molnix losing spots. Galen Wunsch, who's dominated the day. 3 wide into turn 1. 4 wide.
4 wide. Look at this. They're banging off each other.
Oh,
there
the
goes
double
the
zeros
two. He's
around.
Caution is out. They're still wrecking. Oh my goodness.
We talked about it before we came back from commercial. We talked about it.
Yeah.
We're having another one.
We're having another green-white checker. Let's take a look at this replay, unpack how it all started here. And Bradley, looks like the two of Daniel got loose, bumped up into the double zero, which caused them to both go around and cause a pileup.
The 2 got turned again, it looks like.
Let's take another look at this.
Joyner just moved the 97 out of the way. Wow.
Now that's some great short track racing right there. He went for it. That double zero went for it.
He had to try something, but Wunsch able to escape this here. He has Wilkin on the inside. These guys driving extra hard, but yeah, the carnage, a lot of bent up fenders.
Yeah.
I think everybody's still in the running for this race. But Molnix is coming back down pit road. It looks like he's going to commit to 4 tires now. Steve McGough up to 7th after all that. Brent Allen just outside the top 5. Jeremy Burns back to 4th. Tell you what, Galen Wunsch is in the exact spot that he wanted to be in. I know he didn't want this late race caution, but he was able to get around the 2 tire stops. I think everything's going to settle back out to about the way it was, with the exception of Ronnie Joyner and Daniel Molnix. They will no longer be up here in this this top 5.
Well, I must say, if I'm the leader coming to this green-white checker, do I want to be the leader? Because you know you're going to have to hold off the field, and they're going to push you, like we just saw in that last restart. They're going to push you. So I don't know if you would want to be the leader, if you're running 2nd or 3rd. What's your opinion on that?
Well, I mean, somebody has to be the leader, and if I'm Galen Wunsch, I'm going to be the command car, so that is an advantage in this restart zone, but I think I would elect to start on the outside so I can drive it into turn 1 a little bit deeper.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And hope that Trenton Wilkin just doesn't get the restart. So that's about the only plan I could come up with. I wouldn't have a problem either way. I'm happy that I took 4 tires if I'm Galen Wunsch right now, because you saw the restart that set up the 4 wide. The double zero just couldn't get it going. it snapped free on him, and then, you know, chaos ensues. It loves, misery loves company, so everybody behind the 00 was like, well, we got to go now. We haven't had success all race long. Let's see if we can go up there and steal one away. It just didn't work out.
Well, this is going to be an interesting restart. That's for sure. As I believe the pace vehicle lights are going to come off this time by.
There's the 48 of McMurchie. He's going to get one of these laps back here. He'll be back on the lead lap in 15th now.
If I was the 12 right now, Bradley, what I would do is don't push it into turn 1, but you want to set yourself up to get that good corner exit so you're battling side by side with that leader so he doesn't get away. That's what you want to do.
Taking it into turn 3 on the inside would be preferable, but I'm really surprised to see Wunsch start on the inside here. Let's see how it shakes out. Green-white checkered attempt number 2. Green flag is out. We're back underway at Richmond. Already some tire spin back there. The 83's around, and we're going to have another green-white checkered.
Oh my goodness.
And Brent Allen took it 3 wide there into turn 1. He's going to gain a spot. All smiles here from Brent Allen. He's having a heyday today.
He's working the way up there.
Let's get back on the instant replay here and watch this move on this restart.
There was some error on that contact there. Watch an 83.
I was watching right here, kind of the same move that Joyner put on Burns earlier. Brent Allen went up there and just moved the 00 Joyner out of the way, but let's go back to the restart. 83 is the one that spins the tires, gets into Quentin Stewart, Kevin Orlando, Daniel Molnix, the 19 of Terciano.
And 2 involved in 2 incidents back to back. I mean, that's the thing though, Bradley. You're on a short track, right? So you get wrecked. You got to come down pit road and you got to start in the back. There's another risk you're going to be involved in another wreck. And that's exactly what happened with the 2 of Munez, and it is not looking good.
83 just completely spun the tires there, sends the 2 down to the inside wall.
Major damage to the 29 there. Well, here we go again.
Looking through the channels here, Wunsch, who's led and dominated the day, is a perfect opportunity to bring one of these guys up here into the booth, but right now as it sits, Wilkin just behind him, who, you know, he had a top 5 car, but finds himself up in the top 3. You've got Chuck Sweeting just outside the top 3. He showed long run speed. Kind of disappointed that the caution came out because it looked like Sweeting was going to get second position here today. I don't think he had enough time to catch the leader, but he was definitely faster than all the cars with about 5 to go. Now he's got to, now he's just in a hornet's nest. He's got to fight his way out of this thing and try to get back to the podium spot. Unfortunately, it looked like there on that last restart, the car just didn't hook up, and he lost a couple positions. Brent Allen, who has shown he's got the restarts figured out, can he go up here and snag away a podium? Quite a few guys still hungry, plenty of opportunity, but bear in mind, we only get so many attempts at these, and I believe this is going to be the last one. If the 5 to go there, I believe we used the first one. We only have 3 attempts at this tonight, so Galen Wunsch, how about that? He's just got to do it one more time.
Well, hey, I think these drivers know it might be the last attempt. So I think they might ease on a little bit in turn 1, but not ease on. You know what I'm saying? But right now, I'm going to keep my eye on that second row. Inside line right there, 97 to Burns. Remember, his strategy wasn't working out to his plan. Here he is in the second row in overtime, potentially going to steal this win.
Yeah, totally bailed out there for the 97. He was going to probably end up about 5th or 6th position here to end the day. And now he's caught right back up to the leaders. He's got a little front-end damage there on that 97. Hopefully.
Hey, use it. Chrome horn.
Use it. There you go. Wunsch. Wilkin. Burns. Sweeting. Green flag's out. Last green-white checkered attempt. Car's still trying to get it going. Wisnowski spinning the tires. Here we go into turn 1, 4 wide back here. Sideways.
Oh, there it goes.
Joyner. Big wreck there
God.
in the 2. And Galen Wunsch is going to win the race.
Oh, look how close the 12 was of Wilkin. Oh, my goodness.
And Ronnie Joyner is destroyed into the outside wall.
He hit hard.
Right on board here with the 00.
See what he saw here. Here we are going to the final attempt of overtime. Four wide. He had no idea. He took some of the hardest hits here tonight, Bradley.
That he did, and it was kind of the same for Molnix as well. The 23 is actually stuck in the outside wall there. He's going to tow. But ultimately now that we are across the line, the 199 of Galen Wunsch, who dominated the day. He led over 91 laps. He is your winner here tonight from Richmond Raceway, and it would appear that he has ran out of fuel. They're going to push him back to the start-finish line.
Hey, just enough time, right?
Not enough to do a celebration.
People congratulating him.
Yeah, that was
Good sportsmanship, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe it was something else. I don't know, but it's short track, so anything could happen, I guess.
Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Post-race interviews and your final race results for Chase race number 2 here for the QSR Simulations Chase for the Cup. You're watching V-Speed live on YouTube. We'll be back right after this.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back live from Richmond Raceway, the QSR Simulations Chase for the Cup. They have concluded. A little bit of overtime here today. 3 green-white checkered attempts. It took 122 laps to finish this race out. Final results up on your screen. Galen Wunsch with a dominant day. He started on the pole. He led the vast majority of these laps. Over 70 laps led. The 199 is victorious. Trenton Wilkin brings it home in second after starting in 6th. Congratulations to him. I know his day was probably going to be a top 5, but that late race caution puts him up in the top 3. Jeremy Burns able to recover. He waited way too long on this racetrack to come down pit road, but he does recover to a top 3. Good for him. Chuck Sweeting, who I thought might get second position here today, he's going to finish 4th. Brent Allen, how about that? I got to give that guy credit. He finally put a finish together, didn't get caught up in any other people's business. He'll finish 5th here today. Ryan Philbrick will finish in 6th, 7th spot. Wyatt Walker, 8th position. Derek McMurtry, Bradley Hall in 9th. And Quentin Stewart is going to somehow round out the top 10 after all the problems he had.
Finishing just outside your top 10, we have finishing 11th is the 92 of Koshner.
Costner, you got it.
Koshner,
You got this.
Koshner. Finishing 12th is Wisnowski. Oh my god. Finishing 13th is Joyner in the double zero. Finishing 14th is S. McGo. Finishing 15th is Daniel Molnix. Just finishing outside the 15th position. In 16th is the 27 of K Jr. Orlando. Has been struggling with a loose race car. Finishing 17th is the 19 of Turchino. And finishing 18th is Mike Petrin. 19th B. Yates. And 20th B. Witherspoon.
4 more cars out here. We have Spencer Johnson. Sorry about that. Bryson Witherspoon, 21st spot on my timing and scoring. So things a little bit broken here. Austin Dowdy is going to finish 22nd. Frank Walsh, 23rd. And Chris Nail with early problems here today. He will round out your field of 24. So finally, that brings us down trackside. We're going to bring up your 3rd place finisher first here. It's Jeremy Burns in the number 97. Jeremy, you kind of got a gift horse here. You had stayed out a lot longer than we predicted that you would, but you were probably going to set up for a top 5 day. Now, I got to ask about the strategy. Were you wanting a caution? Is that what you were kind of relying on to happen and it just didn't plan out? Or were you thinking that you could chase these guys down with 30 to go?
So I just left the options open, honestly. By doing that, running it a little bit later, I knew that I could either chase them down or if I got a caution, I would have better tires if I took 2 tires. And, well, at the end of that race, got a little dirty, but, we were able to manage through there and, minimize the damage. But overall, we wouldn't have been in that position if we would have pit with the other guys, right? We would have probably had to come down, get 4. And who knows, we might have been battling Waylon there at the end, like wheel to wheel. But overall, I felt like for the situation that we were in, I wanted to pit a little bit sooner, but a lot of lap traffic that was on fresher tires kept taking the inside. My play was to actually come around 68 to 70. The number was 69. Like that was the number that I wanted to pit on. But then after that, I just got held up until lap 75. So I knew that we were going to be in a little bit of a tougher situation where we had to go run them down. But luckily we got a caution and The first thing I said was, all right, Molnix took 2, but I took my last left set of tires a lot later than he did, so I was probably gonna be in a better position, and it didn't matter because we both spun the tires. And then we were 4 wide, and then 4 wide things at Richmond don't usually work out. And you saw that come to fruition not once but twice there at the end. So yeah, overall great race though. Ended up on the podium after we were set back there. I think we were back in like 12th after coming out of pit road. So good fight by number 70 or number 97 crew all day, and we'll look forward into going into next week.
Well, and Jeremy, we saw where you came out of pit road. We saw that, speed wise, Wunsch was just, I think he was kind of playing with you at times because you would catch up to him and then he would pull away, and then you'd catch up to him and then he would pull away. And it's just, it seemed like you guys played a cat and mouse game all day long. How confident were you coming into this race? And then did you kind of get like a surprise, like, oh, there's somebody out here that's just a tenth or a tick faster? How do I beat this guy?
I mean, I knew I had good qualifying speed because I'm really good at qualifying around here, and I kind of know like the little line to do. But when it comes to race pace, I really haven't done many laps here in the Gen 4. So, I mean, just hats off to him. He did a phenomenal job all race, managing his tires and managing that gap, not killing him, trying to run away from me. But yeah, overall, I felt like we had great pace. I felt like we were the second fastest car all day. And yeah, just a little bit short there on pace. And we'll try to come next week and try to be number 1 on pace.
Well, Jeremy, I know you got a long list of people. I'm sure it got longer the last time that we talked to you. Anybody that you could shout out here while we got you in the booth?
Yeah, we got the whole world, right?
We do.
So first off, just huge shout out there to Galen for winning and having that pace all day. I got to shout out my mom and dad, Josie, Dylan, Coach P, Sonny, and my grandma, Miss Betsy. Any of the supporters of the league, all the admin, the staff, you guys up here at V Speed, and any of the other sponsors of the league. Huge shout out to them. We couldn't do it without them. And yeah, I think that's it. So yeah, we'll take that on the next week.
Well, a little wave here from the live camera from Jeremy Burns. We appreciate your time, and we will see you next week at Charlotte, I believe.
Oh, nice.
So there's your third place finisher, and we're going to move on to second spot. Trenton Wilkin is down on pit road with Daniel Paulus Jr. He's got the interview with him.
Well, thank you so much, Bradley. I'm down here on pit road with Trenton Wilkin, who started 6th and led only 1 lap here tonight from Richmond. And Trenton, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Well, it's been an exciting race. You started 6th. Tell me, how was your car throughout this whole race, and what were you looking forward to?
I was looking forward to it because it was like kind of like how Rockingham was setting up, of like a lot of loose offs. You couldn't be full throttle on a lot of straightaways. And I felt like in my wheelhouse, that's kind of like something I'm good at. It's like kind of conserving tires on a hot track. And I was like, oh, this is actually nice. So it's nice, kind of slick, coming off the corners, but it was actually a lot more fun out there than what it looked sometimes.
Well, we did see a lot of you guys slip around off of turn 2. Would you say that was the hardest turn to complete here tonight?
Oh, for sure. Once you come off 2, and then for some reason, like when you get into the middle of the backstretch, when you're already full throttle, the back end would just kick out, which was odd. Like right before you get to your braking zone.
Right, and now that Richmond's moving on, we have 2 more races coming up. Where are your expectations coming up with the final 2 races for the season?
I think we had some good speed at Charlotte for the All-Star. Just ended up wrecking out early, but we had like good qualifying pace. I know it's going to chew some tires. Might be able to do well there. And Homestead, I don't know how it'll go. Hopefully it's something in my wheelhouse with how the tires are going to get with the temperature and everything. I'm confident as long as we can stay consistent, top 3, top 5 in points every race. I think we could possibly fight for the championship.
Well, hey, finishing second here at Richmond after fighting a loose car and whatnot, starting 6th, not too bad. I just want to congratulate you on finishing second place, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.
Thank you. Look forward to it as well. Thank you.
So that's Trenton Wilkin in the number 12, second place here today. And that finally brings us down to victory lane. Galen Wunsch is your victor. A dominant performance. The 199 cannot be bested. I know I'm probably going to be a little brag on you, but you just, I mean, you put on a clinic here today, buddy.
It felt pretty good up until that one lap I got into my teammates. How bad did that look? I haven't seen the replay, but I know I got into him. I went in
I don't
deep.
even know what you're talking about. You were just out there leading this thing. I don't even know what you mean. Honestly, you pulled the strategy on pit road. You executed that perfectly. That was a treacherous pit road. It looked like that apron was slick. You got on the green, white, checkered, 3 attempts at that. You bested them every time on that as well. You got yourself clear of Wilkin. You got yourself clear of Joyner. There's quite a few people that, and then we go back to, you raced a clean race. You used your head, even in traffic with lap cars and all these other things, the factor of burns on your back bumper the whole race. Let's talk about that, how you just maintained under pressure the whole time.
It was tough because, you try not to think about him back there. And I see him getting closer and closer, and I'm trying to save tires at the same time. And I'm like, when I saw he was, gaining on me, I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to burn a little bit of tire to get, to keep this lead. And then I noticed it kind of equaled out. And then once the tires went, I was able to kind of feather it. And it seemed like I actually was going wide in 3 and 4. And it seemed like I was gaining a little bit of time right there. I don't know if it was just me, but it did seem like I quit kind of cutting the bottom and was drifting up a little bit, trying to have more time to throttle off. But Ronnie scared me too. I passed him, and I was like, God, dog, he's coming back. I know he's on older. He pitted 5 laps before me, so I thought, I got fresher tires. I should be able to pull away. But he kind of hung there for a good while.
Yeah, that was a fight back there, and he got that crossover after you went to the outside. You guys both kind of overshot the corner, so that might be what you're talking about, where you guys kind of touched each other or something. But overall, though, you come out here to this hot, greasy mess at Richmond. You've got 2 races left. How does this set you up in the points and the confidence level going into Charlotte?
Oh, I don't think I'm even in the running, unfortunately. But next season I'm gonna run for points. So I'm just kind of taking it race by race right now.
Well, I do apologize. That's my job to know these things, and here I am fumbling on that.
I don't know. I'm not real sure where I am in the points, but yeah, it was definitely a blast racing those guys. I know they're really tough when you get up front and you start racing. Though, even my teammates, they were rough. Like I said, Ronnie was running me pretty hard. I was like, man, why don't you just let me go? Gonna let me catch up to the leaders. I was like, you got to do what you got to do.
We know Ronnie Joyner was hungry to kind of recover his points, and it didn't quite pan out here today. He got 13th, and you got Daniel Molnix, who had a rough day as well. But ultimately, you're able to survive and avoid. You come out on top. Galen Wunsch, anybody you got in mind to shout out before we let you go?
Oh, my wife Kim and my 2 daughters, Caitlin and Lauren. They're my life. So I really appreciate them. I was out of fuel at the
I saw that.
I was like, oh my God, I'm not even gonna make it to. I was so upset. I was like, I'm gonna lose it like this.
Yeah, that would have been probably the moniker on all of it, is to dominate like that and
then
and just run out.
If it would have gone green, I think I would have. If that caution hadn't come out.
That's cutting it close, but
that's crazy.
Hey, sometimes blessings in disguise. They don't ask you how, they ask you how many. I said that a lot yesterday. I'll say it again today. Congratulations on the victory.
Right? Yep. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Galen Wunsch, victor here at Virginia. And that concludes post-race interviews here. It was a fun one. Daniel, I know limited here on the V-Speed booth. You've been in here for a couple of them here, but so far the action has not disappointed. QSR was a phenomenal race. They always put on a great show. What's your final takeaway after tonight?
Well, I was with Oil Take. I was at the Oil League, my first one. This is my second one with QSR. Put on a great performance this time around at Richmond. We saw the aggression. We saw people, getting loose, especially off of turn 2, trying to correct their cars so they don't go around. I just think it was a lot of short track action. We saw a long green flag stint too, Bradley. But then when we got that late caution, then it went crazy. We just had overtime after overtime. That's what you expect at short tracks, and that's exactly what we got. And here comes the 199, basically out on top after dominating the first half of the race. So they put on a great performance, and the season's winding down, so I can't wait to see what they do next.
We will be at Charlotte Motor Speedway June 27th at 8 p.m. That is on a Thursday. Hope you can join us and hit that subscribe button here on the YouTube, and you'll never miss a single race. Plenty of oval action through the week, plenty of racing left to be done through the summer. But for everybody here from QSR and V-Speed, Adam Baker in the background doing the things he does, Eddie Smith, Morgan Cook, Christian Hill, Logan Threlkeld, our producers, my co-commentator up in the booth, Daniel Paulus Jr. This is Bradley Cooper telling you to have a great rest of your week. We'll see you next Tuesday. Until then, take care, everybody.